Come on, we can get the music going.
Let's go.
It's Friday, everybody. Friday, end of the normal Monday through Friday week. Nashville's got snow.
No.
We don't know what's going on around here, but it's Friday, and we're here, and we have internet access.
Look,
so we can get out to you today.
I'm telling you, we're coming to you from the frozen tundra. Obviously, like Texas shut down. And then everybody from Texas till now, Atlanta's going to get even more snow than us, which means they're basically done for a solid week.
Oh,
right?
No. Atlanta,
yeah, look, if you think it's bad in
going through
Nashville, Atlanta is done for.
They have to have.
The planes are fine. Like, they know how to handle that.
Well, I was going to say, like, they do have plows at the Atlanta airport.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay.
It's bananas. It's what it is.
I'm glad it's happening now and not in 2 weeks when we're all going to the NADA show.
Yeah,
because without a doubt, the travel disruptions would be a real thing.
Oh, it would be bad.
Speaking of the NADA show, we're going to be in full effect. Like around the halls of Asodu, we got like two things on our mind: NADA logistics and NADA logistics.
For a third one, we sometimes think about NADA logistics.
Once in a while, we'll talk about.
I'm starting to see the post. You got VinQ. They're all in the office doing their pregame huddle. They're talking about what they're gonna do. I'm seeing other people asking who's going, what's happening, where everybody's going. It's starting to get like really on top of people's minds.
2 weeks from today is the first full day of the show.
Unbelievable.
Like 2 weeks from like almost it's Central Time. What time's the show floor open? Like 9?
9. Yeah, we'll be live streaming right now from the opening of the show floor in a few weeks.
Now. So I'm glad we're working on the logistics. Come with a big crew. Listen, if you or your company want some additional coverage or content at the show, we're bringing our Nashville production crew. It's going to look amazing. We do it every year, but we're going all out this year. We will be there. Reach out to us because we still have a few slots left to fill, but we're really packed. Crew, CREW at
asodu.com.
Or you can just ping us on LinkedIn or something and we'll make sure you get squared away. We're having we're having our own party on Friday night. We have a big parties site, nadaparties.com. Throw the graphic up, go to nadaparties.com, or if you want, you could just search NADA parties on Google, and we happen to dominate the first page. Because this is the authority on all the parties going on at NADA. So go to that, find a party you like, get on the wait list for our party. The slots are going to open up, so make sure you're on the wait list. And if you have a party that you want listed on the site, it is free 99, just today only.
Free 99,
Free 99. Just send us, upload this stuff. We'll put it on. It's categorized Wednesday through Sunday or Saturday, and we'll make sure that your party's there. You can send people to it. They can get all the details. It's really nice. Kyle spearheaded building the site.
We had a lot of fun building
You did a great job. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Also, we're going to skip Let's talk about Wanada.
Wanada.
Do you know what Wanada is?
Let's talk about that.
We haven't talked about it, but that is in 3 weeks.
Because I think it's actually important that people know that this exists. There's a thing called Public Policy Day, and it happens on the preview to the Washington, D.C. Auto Show. And Wanada helps put that on. That's Washington Area National Auto Dealers Association. And they help put it on. But it's a time where like you get politicians, dealers, OEM reps, everybody gets in the room for a few hours to discuss like what's going on from a regulatory standpoint, from like a consumer perspective, and it all kind of piles on for a few hours. We got the opportunity to cover it lightly last year. We're coming in heavy this year. We got a whole like ESPN stage booth thing happening. So if you're in the DC area, January 30th, you're going to want to check that out and come join us.
Please join us. We want to thank our friends at Ascent Dealer Services and Mosaic for being sponsors of that event, helping us bring in the stage and have a central purpose. Look, there's a cool thing about, like, a lot of times when you talk policy, you see lawmakers struggling to just get feedback from what consumers are saying.
Actually,
the More Than Cars community is so focused on what's happening in the front line of the dealership, the connection point with the consumer. It's so exciting that they're with open arms saying, like, we want more of that in the conversation. So who knows? Maybe you'll see Kyle and I on the stage with some public policy makers. They're going to be like, who are these jokers with hats on?
Who are these jokers?
I know. Well, new administration will be like seated, right? When's the inauguration? On the 20th? So they would have a whole 10 days to get settled before they come out to public policy day, which is like literally right down the street.
There you go.
All right, speaking of car shows.
Stop.
Hey.
Time.
The Detroit Auto Show has long been a stage for iconic moments from, let's get this, they don't do this anymore, smashing Jeeps through glass, launching entire luxury brands. Once the epicenter of the auto innovation, the event has struggled in recent years to maintain relevance amidst the rising costs. During the 90s and 2000s, it was like a must-attend event. Right. Dude, 4,000 journalists would go to the Detroit Auto Show. A lot of theatrical reviews and reveals. Automakers were investing millions of dollars in this, but like the rise of CES, specialty expos, coupled with automakers going to more digital first marketing strategies, right? People can learn the stuff online. There's been a big pullback in budget, and the Detroit Auto Show has been on the decline. But they're saying they're returning to their roots, having the show in January, focusing on engaging consumers rather than having spectacle type events. David Cole, chairman emeritus of the Center for Automotive Research, said the world has changed, and that is reflected in the auto show. So this show, they're going to be putting on a full effort January 10th through January 20th. So we really are lining up. We got NADA.
I mean, it's CES, then NADA, then one auto. Like, it's a lot happening in auto.
That's just January.
Goodness.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, I like seeing people.
I'm hopeful for it. Like I think like some good auto shows. The difficulty is CES, but also Steve Greenfield was like, there weren't as many automakers as he was expecting. So I wonder if there is a move back to the Detroit Auto Show. I haven't really been tracking it, but we should kind of like keep our eye out because we got 10 days right now of what's going on out there.
We should hit up our friends at Northwind, see if they can give us a scoop.
Get in there.
That would be really great.
Fun there.
I think any auto show, Detroit is one of the big ones, New York, one of the big ones. I think any auto show where a city, because I see it in Syracuse here, definitely a smaller city, major charity event the night before, contributing a lot of money to local charities.
Yep.
And then I see just a lot of people, right? It's wintertime up here. It's wintertime in a lot of places. It's wintertime in Nashville, right? But there's like the auto show is such a great time. And this is a great time of year to have indoor events where consumers can go in, learn about new stuff. Dealers can actually send their people to the show and meet customers face to face. I just think it's a great community oriented event that, I think we should do more of.
There you go.
Personally.
Opinions with Paul on Friday morning. Let's go.
That's what I think. The new podcast by Paul J. Daly. Speaking of used cars.
Segue.
Cheapest segue ever.
Got him out of it.
I love that button. Thank you so much, Brian Ortega, for making that for us. Used vehicle prices are expected to stabilize further in 2025, bringing relief to buyers after years of pandemic-induced volatility. While still higher than pre-pandemic levels, prices are trending down toward normalization. Good news for everyone. Cox Automotive predicts wholesale prices will end up up only 1.4% compared to what they were in December 2024. Prices went up 46.6% in 2021 and 14.2% in 2020, but started dropping in 2022 and in 2023. So the December's average listing was $25,000. At one point, if you remember, like we were approaching like 29, 30.
Yeah, we were. I think we were actually approaching 30 for average used car prices. So seeing that get back down to 25, like we still have a ways to go in that, in my opinion. Like getting to that $20,000 mark and an average $400 used car price is when you start to see. Dude, but I don't know if it's ever going to happen again. Yeah,
I don't think so. If you factor that for inflation, just in general,
right?
Like it's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not a lot of used vehicle sales forecast rise, only 1% in 2025. But there's a little bit more like stability in pricing, but volatility in the forecast because the unsure nature of like what's going to happen on the new car side. Are interest rates gonna affect purchasing power? Obviously monthly payments are a big question mark still for a lot of consumers, but you can expect, I think, over the next year, used car prices to remain fairly stable and not see these massive jumps or declines just because of how much is in the market right now.
There's just from a human element, mentality element, there's a lot of benefit to stability, just because the shock that happens when people would come in off a trade cycle into the dealership and realize it was going to cost them a lot more to get in a similar car to flip out. Like that just puts everybody on their heels. Consumers are stressed about it. Dealers end up spending time having to comfort them, backpedal, right? If there's like,
it's true. Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
So I really do think that like even the stability, even if we don't see prices go down, the stability is such a good thing because people will walk into the store mentally prepared. For about what it's going to cost. And I think that just helps ease the tension, the natural tension in such a large transaction between dealers and consumers, and give us the opportunity. Like then everyone's thinking with their whole brain, right? And not their emotions. And I think it's a good opportunity to connect with people.
Yeah.
Speaking
of connecting with people.
Yeah. See, that was a real segue.
That was real.
That was a real one for the record.
So Starbucks is hosting a mandatory 3-hour training session later this month as part of CEO Brian Nichols' effort to revitalize the brand. He's been doing a ton over the last 6 months.
He has been. Busy boy.
Nichols said in a session description, "We will refocus on what has always set Starbucks apart, a welcoming coffee house." The training is titled Welcome Back to Starbucks. It'll run from January 21st to 26th with employees attending training at staggered times. Stores may even be closing dining rooms, but keep drive-throughs open to accommodate the sessions. Obviously, Nichols was the man behind the turnaround at Chipotle, has already introduced things like faster drink prep and self-service condiment bars. Interesting there. Employees are obviously hoping for additional workflow adjustments to streamline their operations and a better balance to quick serve while still creating inviting spaces. So he's done a lot of like the practical, functional, outward facing. This is the most inward training that we've seen on like a broad scale at this point.
I think the most shocking part of this entire article is that he called Starbucks a coffee house. When was the last time you even heard that word said?
No. They were the initiator of...
That wasn't in a youth group setting.
Right. Yeah, they were the initiator of like the third wave coffee house that you go find a spot to sit in. Like I remember back in the day.
No. That wasn't third wave. That
was second wave. Second wave.
That was sorry, yeah.
But I mean, I remember back in the day, Starbucks.
The third place is what they called it.
Yeah, the third place.
Home
you
office.
Could find like comfortable seating in a Starbucks.
It's been a while.
Do you remember that?
I do. It was.
I mean,
it was
you could
more like
find
a Barnes
like
and Noble
4
experience.
nice seats around like a low table, like a coffee table.
Some of that exists. Some of that exists, and it's coming back. Literally outside my window, I'm watching them construct a Starbucks that will have 0 seating. By the way.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting? So this article and like the training, giving people like a warm and you can still be warm and welcoming because you can still walk in and pick up.
That's true.
Your event. So I love the fact though that this is a part of Starbucks culture. I've read the books by Howard Schultz, about the upswing of Starbucks and the turnarounds and things like that. It's in Starbucks culture to close, to make everyone focus on one thing. There was a time when they closed every store in the country at the same time to re-educate people on how to pull a good shot.
That's impressive.
You know what I mean? Now the machine does it. They don't need to pull a shot anymore, right? Like press a button and the machine pulls a shot. But I think this is just back to the roots and DNA of prioritizing the fundamentals and the basics. And I think in the auto industry, any retail, but in auto industry, the fundamental basics are worth taking time to stop, slow down, get everybody in on one point of focus.
In my 12 years in the business, there were only 2 times that we ever shut down the entire store in order for training to happen. And I can tell you the 3 months following those trainings were some of the most productive, some of the best employee contribution to like net growth. So like it dies on you have to do it regularly. You have to do some of these dramatic things regularly, especially in a business where we've historically had high turnover, right? And I think you think about like Starbucks coffee retail, another high turnover situation. Like you have to constantly remind your people why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and what you're doing. Otherwise, you just run into people just doing whatever they feel is necessary in the next turn.
Hey, you know what? I like this show. It went from car shows to connecting with people to training. Like, I think we got everything in today. Look, we'll be here tomorrow morning with another podcast, but for today, go crush that Friday.